the Children Organization says that more than 11 million Yemeni children struggle to survive. The United Nations warns against Yemen's aggravating humanitarian crisis amid shortage of funding. UNESCO includes some of Yemen's sites in World Heritage List that is in danger. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news with me, Rushan Fuad. Save the Children organization said that 11 million children in Yemen face their humanitarian situation due to the ongoing conflict. This report has more details.
According to Save the Children, 2/3 of Yemen's population is struggling on a daily basis, following 8 years of violence that has pushed many people from their homes. Just this month, 7 children have allegedly died in displacement camps due to frigid weather. The unveiling of the 2023 Humanitarian Response Plan today is a key step towards meeting the pressing needs of the 21.6 million Yemenis who require humanitarian and protection aid, half of whom are children. Millions of Yemenis are suffering from the combined consequences of violence, an enduring economic crisis, and significant financing gaps, resulting in high levels of food insecurity and the lack of access to essential services. Yemen's Humanitarian Response Plan, an annual evaluation by the UN of a humanitarian crisis and how to respond to it, was only partially financed in 2022, with children's sector among the least supported. Only 6.8% of the necessary funds were allocated for child safety, and only 12.2% of the desired amount was allocated for the Educational Response Plan. Nearly 8 years of war in Yemen have resulted in enormous humanitarian needs. In order to address the effects of violence and economic instability, donors must fully support the Humanitarian Response Plan. An estimated 4.5 million Yemenis have been internally displaced since the beginning of the conflict, yet funding for camp coordination and management received less than 3% of necessary funding. Half of internally displaced persons in Yemen are children, and this lack of funding has serious impacts. According to Save the Children, every child in Yemen deserves to have access to the basic necessities of life, and more support is needed from the international community to make that a reality. Save the Children has been operating in Yemen since 1963, providing programs in education, child safety, health and nutrition, water and sanitation, and emergency response throughout the nation. In 2022, Save the Children reached more than 10 million people, over half of whom are children. Save the Children is pleading with donors to swiftly step up and fully finance the Humanitarian Response Plan for Yemen in order to stop the loss of innocent lives and give children the chance for a better future.
Amnesty International called on the Houthi militia to immediately release the detained women who have completed their jail sentence in Sana'a. The international organization said that women are still arbitrarily detained because there is no male guardian to release them into his custody. The statement added that prison authorities throughout Yemen detain women who have completed their sentences in prison if there is no male guardian to accompany them. The United Nations has warned against the aggravating humanitarian crisis in Yemen amid shortage of funding. The organization called the donors to increase their support to effectively implement the response plan for the year 2023. The following report has more details.
$4 billion is required to help 17 million most vulnerable people in Yemen. This is what the United Nations has told the world to fund its humanitarian activities in war-torn Yemen this year. It said it plans to deliver urgent life savings assistance to people in 2023 who need humanitarian assistance and protection services, as OCHA estimated. Last year, the United Nations Humanitarian Plan cost $4.27 billion to assist 17.9 million people. The war has deteriorated largely into a stalemate and spawned one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. The coalition and the Houthis resumed direct talks last year, facilitated by Oman following the initial truce. Riyadh is seeking to build ties with the group, which is the de facto authority in North Yemen and controls large swaths of Yemen's border with the kingdom. Hans Granberg, the United Nations envoy for Yemen, who has been pushing for an extended and expanded truce, has stressed the need for an inclusive and comprehensive approach in order to reach sustainable political solution. This strategy in 2023 aims to address immediate and significant levels of needs, delivering urgent life savings humanitarian assistance to people. At the same time, it recognizes the importance of preventing a border collapse of basic services and economic conditions that would further exacerbate the dire humanitarian situation. Currently, Yemen is neither in a war of full-scale military offensives, nor does it benefit from a formal peace. In the absence of a comprehensive political settlement, continued displacement, the economic situation, and lack of capacity of state institutions are likely to remain a key driver of needs. These factors have driven overall funding requirements upward despite the decrease in the number of people targeted compared to 2022.
Government forces in Taiz repelled offensive Houthi operations northwest of the city. The forces also dealt with the Houthi infiltration attempt east of the city. Three civilians were injured when a mine exploded in Hajjah, northwestern Yemen. A local source said the landmine exploded in a car carrying 3 civilians in Bani Hassan area, causing serious injuries among them, and the car was completely destroyed. In the same line, a Houthi mine explosion injured 3 civilians, including a child, in Hodeidah. Local sources confirmed that the mine exploded in Al-Jabaliyah neighborhood, which is still stocked with mines planted by the Houthi militia. This comes less than a week after the death of a 15-year-old child, when a similar mine exploded in an area of the same district.
اسمي أحمد سيف مهيوب من جبل حبشي. لغم يعني كنت رايح أزور الأهل والأنسة وما يعني رحت ما لقيت على اللغم، دعست على اللغم وانفجر، ما شفت إلا الغبار يعني والدم والأرجلية خلاص مبترات. هذا أثر علي كثير جدا يعني، إنه خذ يعني كل خلاص أنت مبتر الأيدي ولا الرجل يعني صعبة يعني إنك على تعيين وأسرة يعني صعب يعني الوضع مزري وصعبة. كله شغلي حديد نجارة بناء كان صعب يعني، واختلف الحين الوضع يعني صعب انك تقدر تشتغل هذه الشغلات. هذه جريمة إنسانية يعني، ما لأن ما يعني لو هي صعبة يعني تشل الأخضر واليابس، لا تشل عسكري لحاله ولا مقاومة ولا شيء، تشل للطارف. أصلا أي إنسان يجزع كل يعني جريمة إنسانية يعني بمعنى الكلمة.
In Haiz district, a comprehensive campaign was launched to remove waste accumulated in the district. Yemen Today reporter stated that the campaign will last for 3 days. Includes all waste collection sites and piles of waste in the city center. The presence of these wastes caused the spread of diseases and fevers among citizens, especially children, which also generated a fertile environment for the growth of mosquitoes and insects.
بدعم متكامل.
With the full support of the Vice President of the PLC, we've launched today the cleaning campaign to get rid of waste in Haiz Directorate. People have remarked the intensive, exerted efforts to do this, which indicates the concern of authorities of the health of the citizens. Due to the spread of the malaria diseases, the authorities have launched this campaign, which residents have requested several times before. As a result, the Vice President has implemented this campaign to get rid of waste in all Haiz districts.
UNESCO has announced that sites in Yemen, Lebanon and Ukraine have been added to the World Heritage Endangered list. Since Houthis seized power in 2014, they have been targeting Yemeni heritage and replacing it with a sectarian one in an attempt to deplete the country's history and identity. The following report has more details.
Historic sites in Yemen and Lebanon have been put on the UN's list of World Heritage in Danger. Being on the list gives sites access to enhanced international assistance, both technical and financial, and helps mobilize the international community to ensure their protection. The World Heritage Committee used an emergency procedure to add the ancient kingdom of Saba in Ma'rib province to the list, due to the threat of destruction from continuing conflict and the lack of financial resources for its maintenance. The UN's cultural agency said that Yemen is home to a serial property comprised of 7 archaeological sites that bear witness to the rich kingdom of Saba and its architectural, atheistic, and technological achievements from the first millennium to the arrival of Islam. The kingdom controlled much of the incense route across the Arabian Peninsula, playing a key role in the wider network of cultural exchange fostered by trade with the Mediterranean Sea and East Africa, located in a semi-dry landscape of valleys, mountains, and deserts. The property encompasses the remains of large urban settlements with monumental temples and other buildings. The irrigation system of ancient Ma'rib reflects technological competence in hydrological engineering and agriculture on a scale unparalleled in ancient Saudi Arabia, resulting in the creation of the largest ancient man-made oasis. Ma'rib's prosperity was largely due to the Great Dam, which is one of the engineering marvels of the ancient world. It was built to curb the waters of Wadi Adna to collect the monsoon rains and convert the desert land to fertile. Yemen's ambassador to UNESCO has congratulated the Arab world on this listing, which came on time to reconsider the importance of these historical lands, which came first, then the history did.
Coming next. A training program in Lahj aims to empower needy families economically.
تهامة فيها خير كبير جدا.
البيطري صمم عمان للتغذية الحيوانية بشكل عام.
نجي نعالج البقرة على طول، الحمد لله الآن لو في بقرة مريضة نعرف إيش فيها.
يهدف المشروع إلى تحسين سبل عيش مربيات الثروة الحيوانية.
قمنا بعملية تدريب المربيات. الهدف هو كيف ننتج حليب نظيف.
طبعا هناك حماس صراحة من المزارعين وجمعية كشوبع.
نسبة الزيادة في الإنتاج قد تكون 99%.
Welcome back. In Lahj, traditional sweets that is locally made continue to delight people in the governorate and those in the neighboring areas. The following report has more details.
People in Al-Waza'iyah district southwest of Taiz cling to the old folk sweets made of sesame oil, which is the district has been famous for since the 70s of the last century in Lahj, as a legacy that traditional community is proud of.
We're accustomed to Jayla sweets since childhood, and it has been sold for 45 years. We eat them because they are made of natural oil and are cholesterol-free. Residents of Al-Waza'iyah and residents of nearby areas buy from Jayla sweets.
In the heart of the center of Ash-Shukaira, the capital of Al-Waza'iyah district, the popular Jaylah sweets is located, whose name has been associated with the name of its founder, Hassan Jaylah, nearly 50 years ago. It's one of the most famous and oldest popular sweet shops made of organic oils.
These sweets are made from sesame oil. It was named after the founder of the shop, Hassan Jaylah, nearly 50 years ago. I started working in this industry since childhood. We produce about 50 kilos per day and distribute it to all governorates. They are considered a symbol of Waza'iyah and many travelers buy it as gifts.
50 years of the folk sweets industry that characterized Al-Waza'iyah and is considered one of the most important traditional icons, whose reputation exceeded the barriers towards other regions of the country and neighboring countries despite the expansion of the profession of sweets industry. However, these sweets are still very popular. People are very fond of it due to its reputation and the fact that healthy ingredients are used in making this kind of sweets, which is filled with the taste of joy and memories.
The Ukrainian government announced sending 3 new shipments of wheat to Yemen, Sudan and Kenya within the next few days. The Ukrainian Deputy Minister of Agriculture said that the volume of these shipments will range between 25 to 30,000 tons per shipment. Such shipments aim to alleviate the humanitarian crisis and food insecurity in those three countries. The Yemeni government warned that the country is at risk of a humanitarian catastrophe due to the lack of funding. Yemeni Minister of Planning showed that approximately 17.4 million people in Yemen suffer from high levels of acute food insecurity and are in urgent need of intervention. Abyei Governorate is witnessing a rise in fish selling prices for the first time in months. The price of a kilo of tuna fish reached more than 15,000 riyals, while the price of a piece of fish reached 500 riyals. This rise comes as a result of the absence of the regulatory and supervisory role of the local authorities. This in turn made traders double the profit to more than 300%. The Foundation of Rural Women in Lahj Governorate conducted a training program for local women and girls in traditional crafts. Such a program aims to empower those families economically. The following report has more details.
In this factory, a training course was held for women looking for work to identify their professional capabilities and to discuss the possibility of them working in the private sector. The course was organized by the Association for the Development and Empowerment of Rural Women to highlight the importance of women working in the private sector. The participants emphasized their urgent need for jobs owing to their talents in a variety of vocations, including henna production, tomato crop processing, dairy product manufacture, handicrafts, and marketing.
We are targeting women who provide for their families, who engage in trades such as agriculture, as well as unemployed and destitute women, to help them escape poverty and join the workforce.
Maha is one of the many women who have attended training sessions in the Maghras Naji region in Lahj Governorate. The sessions have enabled her to set up her own venture and provide for her own family in light of the challenging circumstances faced by rural women.
We found the courses very beneficial, and we formed a working team of 11 women. Although the process was taxing, we were able to market our products.
The Association for the Development and Empowerment of Rural Women arranged training sessions for dozens of women and girls in Lahj. According to human rights reports, Yemeni women are the most affected by the deteriorating economic situation that the country has been experiencing since 2011. Following a series of workshops in which more than 50 trainees were taught their requisite labor skills for handicrafts, these trainees passed the workshops and became employable in the market.
Here is a reminder of the main headlines. Save the Children organization says that more than 11 million Yemeni children struggle to survive. The United Nations warns against Yemen's aggravating humanitarian crisis amid shortage of funding. UNESCO includes some of Yemen's sites in World Heritage List that is in danger. This is the end of the news. It was Roshan Fouad. Thank you for watching.